I still have you. Dad?
In a universe of titans, monsters, and gods, one question breaks everything. What could make a god fall to his knees? What could make him change? You thought this was a story about his strength, about powers, punches, cosmic wars, but that was just the surface. The real story was always something else. When Invincible begins, you think you know what you're watching. A teen with powers, a scary dad, the usual superhero playbook. Then, boom, Omni-Man slaughters Earth's greatest heroes. And suddenly, it's not that a story anymore. So we shift our focus. What's Nolan hiding? Can Mark stop him? Who wins? But while we're watching the skies for answers, we miss what's happening on the ground. Because Invincible doesn't ask who hits hardest. It asks who keeps going when everything breaks. The Viltrumites aren't just villains. They're not even people. Not really. They're ideas, clothed in muscles, built to conquer. They don't age, don't break, don't die. No weakness, no sickness, no slowing down. At first glance, seems like perfection, but that's the trap. Because if nothing can ever hurt you, then nothing can ever matter. No stakes, no fear, no love. Just endless time and no reason to grow. That's Nolan's curse. He doesn't hate Earth. He just doesn't need it. And that's where the show quietly reveals its deepest truth. To live forever is to never need to grow. That's why the Viltrumites feel hollow. It is why someone fragile, someone human, can become the most important person in the story. While Nolan was out saving the world, Debbie was doing something harder. She didn't have powers, no flight, no laser eyes, just a normal human, a wife, a mother. And when her world started falling apart, when everything she knew was a lie, she didn't explode, she held. Not because she was unbreakable, but because she broke and kept going anyway. Think about it. What do you do when the person you love turns out to be something else entirely? When the life you built is based on a secret you were never meant to survive, most people would collapse. Debbie doesn't. She doesn't fight with fists. She fights by staying, by feeling everything, and refusing to disappear. That's her power. And it's one the Viltrumites will never understand. Because while they see love as a weakness, Debbie teaches Mark that it's everything. Not a strength, not dominance, but care, vulnerability, connection. She gives Mark something no Viltrumites ever had, a reason to be more than a conqueror. Mark Grayson is half Viltrumites. His DNA says conqueror, his powers say God, and his father says don't care. But our Mark makes a different choice. He chooses pain, he chooses fear, he chooses us. Not because it's easy, but because it's right. What makes Mark truly invincible isn't his strength. It's that he feels everything and doesn't run from it.
Look at you, Dad. I still have you.
That moment, it wasn't defiance, it wasn't rebellion, it was forgiveness. Not the kind that shuts down, the kind that understands pain and still chooses to forgive. That's what broke Nolan. Not the blood, not the punches, but seeing his son beaten, bruised, still holding on. Mark isn't a hero because he can fly. He's a hero because he stays human. Because when he had every reason to harden, he didn't. He reached out.
Come on,
People say Mark saved the world, but the moment that really changed everything didn't come from a punch, it came from a memory. Mark, just a kid, smiling wide, 2 teeth missing. Debbie nudges Nolan, eyes on the field. This matters, she says. He matters. And for just a moment, Nolan sees it. Not a soldier, not a future weapon, just a kid, his kid. Now fast forward to the mountain. Mark is bloody, barely conscious. His teeth shattered, almost like that day at the game. And suddenly, Nolan sees it again. Not an enemy, not a failure, just a little boy who never stopped believing he had a father. And that's what breaks him. Not Mark's power, not Earth resistance, a memory, planted years ago by someone he never really understood, Debbie. She made him watch, she made him care, she made him feel. She was never part of the fight, but she changed everything before the battle even began. Debbie didn't throw a single punch. She didn't wear a cape. She didn't need to, because she did the one thing a Viltrumite never could. She held the family together, with honesty, with love, with pain. And she raised a son who would one day choose empathy over power. That's why the show isn't called Omni-Man. It's not even called Mark. It's called Invincible. And maybe the real invincibility was a mother's love. Let me know what you took from it. Thanks for watching, my friends. I'll see you in the next one.